how to prime your body for fat loss. Because if you are preparing to start a diet or a program or any kind of weight loss, fat loss journey, all of those things operate under the same scientific principles. Okay, nobody can operate outside the scientific laws. The difference in all of the programs is just how they leverage the scientific law. Okay, but because we all operate under the same law, the same strategies are going to be effective for priming your body for it to be effective. So if you want to prime your body for fat loss, there are two simple things you can start doing right now to maximize the effectiveness of your weight loss or fat loss journey. So to first understand how you're going to prime your body for fat loss, I need you to understand how fat loss or weight loss actually works. So like I said, we all operate under the same scientific laws. And there's two of them behind weight loss. The first one is the law of thermodynamics. You may have also heard this called the law of energy balance. In layman's terms, it's calories in, calories out. So in essence, you have to be eating or consuming less energy, less calories than you are burning in a day. You need to be burning more than you eat. You need to be what's in what we call a negative energy balance, because then your body's going to have to use something on the inside of you for that extra energy, because you're needing more energy than you're taking in. So your body has to use something inside of yourself. Now, whether that is fat, whether that is muscle, whether that is just simply water weight you're losing, is all going to depend on how the program you use uses or what strategies they use to leverage that first law. So how are they restricting you? How are they making less calories in? Maybe what are they restricting? Are they telling you you can't eat an entire macronutrient group? Maybe how much, how far in restriction are we going? That's all going to play into whether we're losing water weight, muscle weight, fat. Maybe you're not focused as much on restricting what you're taking in as increasing your output. So some diets will say they're not as focused on the nutrition, what's coming in. They're more focused on working really hard. They're killing you in your workouts. You leave feeling completely drained and dead. So they're increasing the output instead of decreasing the input. But whatever it is, you're ending up in a negative energy balance. This is how all weight loss operates, okay? But there's another law that comes into play, which is why you end up stopping seeing the results and you hit what's called the plateau. This law is called adaptive thermogenesis, also known as metabolic adaptation, when your metabolism slows down. Everyone has experienced this. And there are things that you can do to bust through the plateau so you can start seeing results again. But that's a training for another day. Here in this training, we're going to talk about how to maximize the results of your diet. And the way you're going to do that is extend the amount of time you're in that negative energy balance before metabolic adaptation happens. We are going to maximize the amount of time that you can stay in a negative energy balance and lose weight and lose fat before you hit a plateau. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how we're going to prime your body so that you can stay in the fat burning zone, the weight loss zone, longer before you hit a plateau and stop seeing results. There's a number one best thing you can do to prime your body for fat loss, and that's increase your metabolism. The $1 million question, how do you increase your metabolism? Because the higher and the faster your metabolism is, the better any weight loss or fat loss endeavor is going to work. So there are two ways to speed up your metabolism. One, with food. Quit depriving yourself. This is actually using that science of metabolic adaptation in reverse in your favor. So instead of slowing down your metabolism, you're going to be speeding it up with food. So by eating just a normal amount of food right now, which is just more than a diet amount of food, you're going to be increasing your metabolism. If you're in a diet, you're moving that the wrong direction. So instead, I'm not asking you to eat a ton. Don't go over the other end, but just eat a normal amount of food. Don't be in a caloric deficit so that your metabolism starts moving this direction. And how you're going to do that is, like I said, not being in a caloric deficit, eating enough food for your energy needs, okay? Don't skip meals. I know you're like, I overate yesterday, I'm under eating today, I'm skipping breakfast, or I'm skipping lunch, or I'm not, we're going out to girls' night tonight, so I'm not eating lunch. I'm just going to wait and have my lunch and dinner at the calories at the same time at dinner. Okay, quit depriving yourself and eat like a normal person. What I mean by normal person is somewhere between, for most of you, this is a broad range. Generalization is between 1,600 and 2,000 calories. Ideally, in a healthy metabolism, it's probably closer to 1,800 to 24 calories for the general population, but years of dieting have more than likely slowed your metabolism down, so it's not functioning as high as it should be. You're not burning through as much as you should be. So it's probably somewhere between 1,600 and 2,000 calories to maintain your energy output with your energy input, okay? The second thing you can do to speed up your metabolism, the first one's quit deprivation, quit dieting. The second thing you can do to increase your metabolism is increase or at least maintain your muscle mass. Your metabolism lives in your muscles. So the more muscle you have, the faster and higher your metabolism is. So you can do this by building muscle, strength training, resistance training. You can also preserve, so that's to build it. You can preserve the muscle you have by eating enough protein, because protein breaks down into amino acids in your body. Amino acids are the building blocks of muscles. So even if you aren't weight training, you need to be eating enough protein to maintain the muscles that you currently have. You need to also, kind of going back to the first thing, is eat enough. Another reason for this is because if you're not eating enough, period, whether it's protein or any other kind of food, whether if you're under eating, your body has to find something to use to make up for that. And if you're not using your muscles with strength training, then your body's going to see the muscle as not needed, and it's going to burn it for fuel. Because muscle is calorically expensive to maintain, which is why you can burn more calories sitting on the couch if you have a lot of muscle. So that's why it's important to build it, but also why it's important to at least maintain what you currently have by eating enough protein. So in a nutshell, if you're not using your muscles or feeding your muscles, they're going to go away, slowing down your metabolism. Next thing you can do right now to start developing healthy habits is to start developing healthy habits that you can do consistently. The key word here is consistently, because sustainable results are going to come from sustainable habits. So don't say, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour a day. That's not, if that's not sustainable for you. For most people, it's not. So don't start doing that now, okay? I'm going to list off like a laundry list of healthy habits that you can start doing now, but don't feel like you need to be doing all of these things, okay? Pick one, pick two of these healthy habits and begin to kind of habit stack those one on top of another. Start with something simple that you can do, and then as that becomes routine, add in something else that you can do, okay? Because in all honesty, this is important, because you don't just, your goal or whatever your goal is to lose weight or to lose fat, to lose 100 pounds or whatever. I don't want you to be so focused on that goal that you do whatever it takes to get there. Because if you can't do whatever this is forever, you can't sustain those results. So what I want you to focus on is building these healthy habits that you can do consistently and fall in love with this journey. That way, not only do you reach the destination, you learn how to be a person who can sustain that destination. So if you lose 100 pounds at whatever the cost, whether it's, buying these prepackaged, overly priced food, or going to the gym an exorbitant amount of time, or hiring a personal trainer, 3 days a week. And if you're not willing to do these strategies long term, you can't keep the results long term. So that's why it's important to build healthy habits that you enjoy. That way you learned you've learned how to be a person who weighs less, not just how to lose weight. Okay. And that's the key here. So some of the healthy habits you can start incorporating is adding in extra movement. You can go for a short walk. You can do a recovery ride on your Peloton if you have one of those. You can do just something as simple as standing instead of sitting at a desk all day. Any kind of extra movement during the day, extra steps, things like that. Second biggest thing you can start doing is sleep. Go to bed earlier. Turn off your phone, okay? Get some sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning to set that circadian rhythm, get that melatonin production going, because sunlight on your skin in the morning is what's directly related to melatonin production and release of that in the evening so that you can go to sleep. Sleep, if you're a client of mine, you've heard it, sleep and stress are the two most underrated tools for fat loss. So those are my two biggest ones I want you to focus on first. Getting enough sleep, ideally 8 hours, okay? 7, I'll give you 7, but really 8 hours of sleep and extra movement during the day steps. After that, you can start focusing on whole food nutrition, meaning if it was grown from the ground or if it had a mother, you can eat it. Okay, this type of food is more nutritious. So what I'm not saying is eat less processed foods. What I'm saying is eat more whole foods, because if you're focused on adding in the good stuff, some of that not so nutritious stuff, notice I'm not saying bad stuff. No food is inherently bad. It just might be less nutritious. So as you add in more nutritious food, that less nutritious stuff might slide out the back door without having to eliminate the foods that you love. You're going to get more nutrition by doing this, okay? You're going to have less inflammation because most processed foods cause inflammation. You're probably going to begin to see a taste in your a shift in your taste buds. Overly processed foods typically are high in sugars and high in salt. They're hyper palatable, making you want to eat more of them. So as you begin to eat more nutritious foods and these things start falling away more and more, your palate might change and you'll find that healthier foods actually taste better than they do when you first start out. And then a really fun fact about eating more whole foods is that you typically eat less automatically. So if you look at a processed food and its whole food counterpart, you typically can eat considerably more of the processed food than you can its whole food. Apples and apple juice, okay? Apple juice is highly processed. It typically has added sugars in it. You can probably sit down and drink 1,000 calories in apple juice at one time. But you probably can't sit down and eat 1,000 calories worth of an apple. So not only the processing to make the apple juice adds in sugars, it takes out the fiber on the outside of the apple and the skin. And it's just, you can have more of it because it's hyper palatable. An apple is more nutritious because you have the fiber and you can't eat as much of it. Same thing with like chips and potatoes. You can probably eat way many more calories in potato chips than you can sit down and eat a whole food potato. So by focusing more on whole food nutrition, you're innately going to be eating less during the day and getting more nutrition all at the same time. It's kind of a win-win. Something else you can start doing to prioritize health is fasting. In the Fast Your Way, that's something that's one of our strategies. We typically do intermittent fasting. Clients range anywhere between like 12 to 16 hours. So I would start with a 12-12 fast, meaning you eat for 12 hours and you fast for 12 hours. So if you finish dinner at 8 p.m., you'll eat breakfast at 8 a.m. the next day. This is not a weight loss or a fat loss strategy as much as it is a health strategy. It gives your body time to quit digestion and start healing, because your body cannot digest food and heal itself at the same time. So when you quit eating for an extended period of time, you get out of digestion and you get into the cellular autophagy or the healing. So this is more of a healing strategy. Again, we're getting you to the healthiest version of yourself. We've already touched on this, but prioritizing protein is something else, another healthy habit that you can start doing. A way you can prioritize protein is start every meal and every snack with protein. That's going to make sure you're getting enough to sustain your muscles or even build your muscles if you're doing weight training. But starting your every meal and every snack. So before you have the apples, have a slice of turkey, okay? Or, eat a meat stick or whatever it is. If you have your plate of dinner, eat your meatloaf before you eat your vegetables or, your mashed potatoes or whatever. Start every meal with protein. That's going to help you get enough protein in your meal. It's also going to help balance your blood sugar when you start with a protein before you eat your carbohydrates. Protein is known to help keep you full longer. So when you prioritize protein in your diet, you're not going to be as hungry. Protein also has an increase, a higher TEF, thermal effective food, meaning it costs more energy, more calories to digest. It creates more heat in your body when you digest meat. So there's lots of benefits to eating protein. Okay, so prioritize your protein. Eat it first with every snack and every meal. Something simple is hydration. My biggest tip for hydration is 1, get a cup with a straw. A cute cup with a straw that you'll carry around. Drinking out of a straw, you typically drink more. Second biggest tip is to fill your coffee cup with water. In the morning, drink the entire cup of water first before you drink your coffee. That's going to start you out in the positive. So you're starting out ahead of the game with your hydration. And then the biggest thing you can do to prime your body for fat loss is to prime your mindset for fat loss. Because like I said earlier, it's all about the journey. You don't want to lose the weight. You want to learn to be a person who weighs less. And so to do that, you need to set your goals. What is your goal? And it needs to be what we call a SMART goal. It needs to be specific. It needs to be measurable. How are you going to measure whether you achieve this goal or not? Is it going to be with inches lost? Is it going to be with more energy, better sleep, smaller clothes? How are you measuring it? It needs to be attainable. You know, we can set goal after goal after goal after goal. Don't reach for the stars here. Set a goal that's attainable for you. Once you reach it, we'll set another goal, okay? It needs to be reasonable, okay? And it needs to be time bound. You need to say, you know, by X amount of date, I need to see if I have, you know, met my goal, okay? It's not just this open-ended thing. And then also think about why. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to lose the weight? Why do you want to have these body composition changes? And dig a little bit deeper. Ask yourself why a couple of times. Why do you want to lose the weight? Because I want my clothes to fit better. Why do you want your clothes to fit better? So I feel more confident, you know, in my clothes. Okay, well, why do you want to feel more confident? Because I want to feel as pretty and as beautiful as my husband thinks I am. Well, why do you want, like, dig a little bit deeper and get more down to the root of why you're wanting to get healthy. Why are you wanting to get healthy? Because I want better blood work at the doctor. You know, why do you want better blood work at the doctor? Because I want to be healthier for my family. I don't want to be I don't want to be decrepit or, you know, have a disease that, you know, is a chronic disease. I don't want to die of whatever chronic disease, you know, falls in, you know, in your family, in your gene pool. So figure out your why and then dig a little bit deeper. Ask yourself why a couple of more times to really get down to the root of it. Because really, all in all, it's really important to prime your body for fat loss, but more importantly, I want you to prime your mindset and get your mindset right so that you can truly make this a lifestyle change. So in a nutshell, the two biggest things that you want to do to prime your body for fat loss is increase your metabolism. Okay, and you're going to increase your metabolism by stop dieting, quit deprivation, eat a normal amount of food, 1,600 to 2,000 calories a day, typically. You can also increase your metabolism by building more muscle, or at the very least preserving the muscle that you currently have. The second best thing you're going to start doing is start developing healthy habits that you can do consistently by habit stacking. Start with one. Once you master that, you can move on and add another healthy habit on top of that. Bye, guys.